Warning. The following episode contains spoilers about the 2018 film, The Nun. And, of course, mild spoilers from The Watchmen. In the event of demonic activity, please ensure that your nuns are seated in the locked and upright position. Welcome back. Welcome to Marianne's Macabre Review.
Welcome to Marianne's Macabre Review, Season 2. First thing we're going to review is The Nun, the movie, which is like Conjuring, a prequel, maybe you would say?
Well, another.
Yes, another, because it's got
story.
Annabelle, it's got all these different iterations of it, prequels and sequels and stuff. So
You should clarify which year this Nun came out.
Oh yeah, this Nun is the 2018 version. I tried to get tickets to the 1956 version, which is not what we just watched. So
Definitely.
It was 19-something. It was much earlier than the one we just watched. I said 1956, and I realized that's the date in the actual movie.
52.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have returning guest Jessica.
Hi.
We have returning voice actor, also my husband, Jay Keith Jackson, and myself. I'm Marianne. How are y'all? Well, we're back. And let's talk about The Nun. Jessica, why don't you start? Why don't you give a synopsis of it first so we can...
Okay. So, a nun commits suicide at an abbey in the middle of Romania somewhere. And so the Vatican sends a priest and a nun who's not yet a nun, as they constantly remind you she hasn't taken her vows, to go investigate. They are aided by a French-Canadian who just happens to live there.
Yes. In Romania.
For shits and giggles in the middle of nowhere.
Because he felt like
Romania.
he was needed.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He had a premonition, I guess, that someday someone would need him somewhere in Romania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And shenanigans happens. Keith, why don't you start with your general thoughts?
I just felt uneventful to me somehow. I'm not really sure what it is. It just... it was okay. I mean, it got where it needed to go eventually. It's just felt like there's just a lot of filler in the middle, and I can go in more detail later, I think.
Okay. Jessica?
I didn't like it that much. I thought there was zero tension in the movie, and the characters were so dumb. They were so stupid that I kind of wanted them to die.
Enjoyed it the entire way through. I was entertained the entire time. Something was always happening. Again, Keith has mentioned this in other episodes. It's a prequel. We know she gets out. We know the nun gets out. We know this big, fight we're going to have is going to fail somehow. So I'm like, well, I mean, maybe this is the nun that dies. Nope, but it didn't. I enjoyed it in the Conjuring line of things. I'd say it's middle of the ground.
Yeah.
I'd say, I don't know, I'd probably put the first Annabelle movie, the one that takes place later, is the one that would be the lowest. And then we'd have this movie, and then the others. I mean, because the others were just much more suspenseful and enjoyable than this one.
Anyway.
So let's get down to the nitty gritty. What do we like? What we didn't like? Now, first of all, I was really entertained by the crowd that we saw at opening night, the 8-something show, and oh my gosh. When Frenchie, you be the person that's in the crowd. I will do what Frenchie says. A nun appears, a ghostly nun, we think, appears. That's carrying a noose.
Can I do what Frenchie said?
Yes.
Sure. And I'll be the nun then.
All right.
So I'm a nun and I'm haunting around a graveyard where he knows one has already died and he buried it earlier that day. It's pitch black. It's nighttime. I've got a lantern. And...
Hello?
And then the audience member goes,
No.
Yes.
It goes back to...
Just, hello? No.
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 It goes back to It, chapter 1, where Beverly looks into the thing, into the drain, and says,
Hello?
oh, come on!
Who's there? Is it anybody there? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Is anybody there?
It's like, it's a drain. You know there's a killer clown going around. You don't talk to a drain.
No. I don't care what whispers you hear coming out of that fucking drain.
You
You don't talk to it.
You don't talk to it.
And when you're running around a haunted abbey with a nun who you put in an icebox laying down and you found sitting up,
Yeah.
ain't nobody fucking there. You don't know. You
don't
don't walk
chase
around
after the
like,
person.
oh, wow, I see a nun with a noose running around outside. Let me follow her around. No, dipshit.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Same.
Does not approve.
I was worried that they were going to do like the Dracula trope of, I'm floating. But they actually had her walk away.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm okay. He could, if she floated away, I think he'd be like, done, I'm out. But she actually walked.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're kind of dumb.
Yeah, they were.
He's like, doop de doop. It's scary as shit outside. My horse won't even come here.
But let's keep going.
Let's keep going. So then he narrowly escapes this nun. And he's surrounded by crosses. I think most of them are grave crosses, but it's unclear as to whether the crosses are just there.
I think there was
to
a
keep stuff
barrier
in.
of crosses around.
Yeah. Hoists a cross from the ground. It's half his size and starts walking off with it. And the audience member goes...
He took the whole thing.
Oh, is that what he said? I couldn't tell what he said. I thought
Took
he
it
said-
with him all the way back to town and sat it on the bar stool next to him while he got drunk.
And he put a drink in front of the cross, too. There was a
One-
drink in front of it.
One for my homie, I guess. I was just...
It's like, what the heck?
Oh, man. And they make a point to be like, no one in this fucking town talks about this abbey because it's evil. And I'm like, why do y'all still live here?
Yeah.
There's literally no one around for miles. You could leave
Yeah.
and make a new village 20 miles that way.
Mm-hmm. And everything would still be fine.
Yeah, you'd be cool. People wouldn't be killing themselves left and right.
12-year-olds wouldn't be killing themselves. Yeah, that
You
was
wouldn't
just
have-
ridiculous.
Fresh puddles of blood that just stay fresh
Yeah.
for no reason.
That the guy's like, hey, gloves off.
People in the 50s were disgusting.
Don't put your finger...
Let me touch the blood and roll it around in my finger. You can see it's bright red
Yeah.
and shiny and liquidy.
Yeah, you
It's
don't
not
need to touch it.
congealed. You don't have to pick it up like you're gonna lick it to taste
Oh,
the
God, yeah, I
cocaine
was like-
content.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The one thing I'll mention that Jessica leaned over to me and said was, reminded me not to time travel.
Legit.
So, Keith, what did you like or dislike about it?
Well, I think I was able to get a better handle on what it was that was bothering me, or rather not engaging me enough. I think I didn't have a very good grasp of what the rules were for
True.
what was going on. So
Mm.
these apparitions seem to be, touching them and doing things and maybe disappearing, maybe not. And as we get far enough into them, like when we start getting to the end game of what's going on, it's like, oh, so all these nuns were just,
Dead the whole time.
they're just like putting on skits for her
Yeah.
for some reason.
They were ghosts the
And-
whole time, and I loved that.
Yeah,
that was my favorite
I
part.
figured they were ghosts.
But I mean, were they ghosts, or were they being, or is it just the titular nun
No, they
showing
were.
them things?
They were there. They were giving her the keys that she needed to defeat the nun.
Mm.
That's why that one sister Moana. I think
Oh,
it was Oana.
It was Oana.
But I was like, Moana.
Oana.
Yeah.
So that's why she was like, shh, be quiet. When she like said, okay, come here. You need to go pray.
It seemed like their souls were trapped there.
Yes.
Like they couldn't get out.
Yeah.
Because of the evil.
Right. And they were there to continue their vigil until they were put to rest.
Yeah. And when it turned out that she walked into the room and the dead body there was the chick she'd just spoken to, I was like, oh, good. I was right. They are all dead.
Thank God they're dead.
Thank goodness, because this looks like it would have hurt.
Mm-hmm.
She was all stigmatted.
Yep. So she did get Sister Irene got a pentagram.
I think it was a pentacle since it didn't have a circle around it.
A pentacle
maybe.
Slash into her back.
Yeah,
and then it
was
never
gone.
bled through.
Well, it was gone then. I think that was also one of the hallucinations. Like,
which is an example of sort of what I meant. It was hard to tell what was consequential or if it actually did. Yeah.
The one thing that bothered me, which actually bothers me from, I immediately thought of The Watchmen when it happened. In The Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan, in the comic book, Dr. Manhattan shows Laurie, Silk Spectre 2, like all these different visions, and she comes to the conclusion that the comedian's her father. Spoilers! If you haven't seen or read but in the movie, he says, the comedian's your father. Instead of letting her figure that out herself, he just says it, which annoys the shit out of me. In this movie, she has visions the whole time, and they always end with, Mary points the way. And then we come into a room with a fucking light coming off of Mary's fucking finger. And she's like, what? I don't know. And he's like, duh, don't you see? Mary points the way. Duh. It's like, oh my God, woman. That should be the first. If there's a Mary in the room, you should always look and see what she's pointing at. And if she's a fucking beam of light coming from it, that probably means something. God damn it, I was so pissed with that. I was like, don't take that away from her. Give her that one thing. And nope, the priest has to do it. Has to point it out to her because she's too dumb to figure it out.
Yeah. But again, they're so stupid. They're just so stupid. And like the priest. So he's like, hoop-de-doop, where'd this tiny boy come from who looks exactly like the boy who died 20 years ago because I exercised him too hard. Exorcised. Not exercised.
Did too many squats.
Like,
blew everything right out.
I was just like, what? Why are you He's like fucking leapfrogging from tree to tree. Why the hell makes you think that's a normal child?
That was a great scene. I love that scene. And he's
like, doop-de-doop, here I go. Let me follow him. Gets flung straight into a coffin. My worst nightmare when I was 12. And buried alive. And then the next fucking time he sees him, he's like, Daniel! Daniel, let me follow you. I was like, bitch.
Didn't you learn?
I'm like, that nun you were just talking to isn't fucking there.
Yeah.
Her head went crack, crack, and then she disappeared. And you're gonna fucking follow the fucking little too? Daniel too? Like, Jesus Christ is watching you from the side of the room, and he's just shaking his head in disappointment.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
Yeah, that was maddening. The priest not...
And, like, he wakes up in the middle of the night because the radio goes off, and that radio, what a fucking tease. He walks all the way to it. It's silent with its light on, and then it's like, just kidding. I'm out. Turns its light off. She is in the same room, sleeps through all of that, and then wakes up because her curtain rustles. And I was like, are you for real? Like, if your ass slept straight through all that other stuff, how... Oh, Russell.
Oh, better get up now.
Yeah, oh, wow. Let me light my candle.
It was a good audience reaction, I think, too, when as soon as the flashlight touched the flashlight beam touched the radio, goes, oh.
Yeah. That was my favorite effect. Yeah, when it just, like, He's like, oh, he's watching me. Doop, and it turns off.
Like almost like a record scratch.
Yeah.
But not a record
Ooh.
scratch.
It's like, I was just trying to have some fun. Damn.
We're just gonna go point it. Okay, so he had a flashlight. Why did he resort to a Zippo?
I think he knocked out the flashlight because he kept hitting the coffin with it.
But there were.
Okay.
Or the battery went out, one or the other.
I'm like, your oxygen will be gone.
It's
especially 'cause he's
1952. Do they know what oxygen is?
yelling. That's true.
I assume they do.
Maybe.
It's primitive time. Look,
It's primitive, yeah.
they still ride horse-drawn carts.
Point of no return. I don't think there is a point of no
Yeah,
return
it just-
for this movie.
It was getting there.
I think it depends on which
Maybe for
character you're
Frenchie?
talking about. Yeah.
Frenchie's like, I ain't fucking going back, and
Right.
then he would have been fine.
He just
Yep.
kept drinking with his cross and just didn't,
Didn't go back. Didn't give a shit about the girl.
He was a cutie.
He was.
I
cute, he had
wanted
pretty eyes.
him and someone to make out. I was hoping.
Well, they cut at the end before that happened, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I guess that didn't happen.
But I guess she stayed a nun and they stayed friends.
Yep.
Because it showed her in that video. Or, well, no, that could have been her. That could have been Lorraine.
That
Just
was
kidding.
Lorraine. Yeah.
Just kidding.
I thought the woman looked a lot like Lorraine Warren, and
Right.
I kept going, "Is that her?"
That's
Were
it-
you
it-
a nun?
That is exactly it. I kept feeling she had that voice like
It's kind of like back here. Where they talk.
from the other series.
No, it's the same series.
No, not The Conjuring. The other one.
Oh, Rosamund. Yes, Insidious.
Yes.
Oh,
You
I
thought-
love Insidious.
She sounded like the woman they had to play the young version of her, and
But it was actually
sorta
the
looked like her.
sister, the woman that plays Lorraine Warren in The Conjuring.
Yeah, from
I'm confused. What?
They're related.
They're related. The Conjuring, the
siblings.
Lorraine Warren in
real life,
in
they're
real life,
siblings.
Yeah, Lorraine Warren, the actress that plays her,
Vera Farmiga
yeah,
is the
Yeah,
older
is the
sister
older
of
sister
the main character in
of
this.
Sister Irene.
Huh.
Yeah. Thaisa? Tessa?
Vergara.
Farmiga.
Yeah.
Just a Farmiga.
So that is why I thought, hey, she sounds and looks like her, and that's probably why. Okay.
Yeah, they're related.
That's confusing.
Yep.
Yeah. So, naturally there were crusaders, am I right?
Yep. As always.
And they decided to keep Jesus' blood in a glass Christmas ornament.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well,
who planned this?
That's why ornaments are on Christmas trees now, because
Huh.
no,
Jesus'
just,
blood
I'm
was in them.
joking.
I mean, they kind of look like me.
Yeah.
And his blood just stayed so fresh.
So fresh. Oh, because it's Jesus'
So
blood.
fresh and so clean.
It's like it's wine or something,
Yeah.
Well,
Hey.
they have perpetual puddles outside, so you think that Jesus could have
Yeah.
some staying power with his. We just
He's super, yeah. I was a little confused if the reason she was sent is because of her visions. If so, why? Or because the nun was like, this is the vessel I need.
I think it was the priest, because of her visions, who sent her. They felt that she was the one that was going to be the one that would...
the bishop, I guess.
Yeah.
Knew who she was.
They're like, this bitch believes in dinosaurs, which, problematic.
Yeah.
But she has God-given visions.
Yes.
Send her.
Send her with our blessing.
I liked him. He's like, why are we in the Vatican?
Yeah.
He's like, I know y'all are up to something. And then the one priest is like, for once, it's not us who have secrets. I was like, wow. Throwing shade right at the Catholic Church.
Immediately. What was the
love
other,
it.
I thought every time I saw that guy, I'm like, it's the poor man's Jeffrey Dean Morgan. It's like, we can't get Jeffrey Dean Morgan, so let's get this guy. I don't know who he is. He might be famous. He might be amazing. I
The
don't
priest
know.
or like the
priest.
Vatican dudes?
No, the priest. The guy that looked like Jeffrey Dean
Yeah,
Morgan to me.
he was
That's not, he
super
looked more like
familiar to me.
looked more like Monk to me, actually.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yes.
What would we rate this? 1 to 10. Keith, why don't you start this time?
Well,
Final thoughts?
Probably be up around a 6, going by my Netflix 3-star rating.
Double it, yeah. Any final thoughts?
Not yet. I know something's probably going to come to me after this is over, but
Jessica?
Are we supposed to give a scary score also?
Yes. Keith, can you... So, there's a little seal on that light post up there, and it keeps, like, going, caw-caw, caw-caw. It's so cute. It's, like, staring at us, like...
Oh, no, you're...
There's no water here.
He's a car park gull.
Gross.
Yeah. He's like, you got any fries? Got any fries? Got any fries? Anywho, do you have a scary score?
I think the snakes bothered me a fair amount, even though they didn't make any sense.
No, Varric was the god of snakes.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that shit. He's like, you know what? I've never seen The Evil Dead. Let me recite from this fucking book I found in a grave.
Yep.
And call it by its name. And
say
talk
it out
about
loud.
how it likes snakes. And you know what? He deserved to get bit in the eye by a snake.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, you're a dumb bitch.
So, Keith, 1 to 10?
The jump scares didn't really bother me. I just have a way of kind of turning off whatever that makes people jump for that. Just, I don't know, 4, 5. So I mean, there's some tense moments, but it didn't really feel
Genuine.
Yeah, that's. I think Jessica touched on it at the beginning. Something about the tension. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I understood that what was happening was supposed to be tense, but it didn't really make me feel invested in the tension of it. Certain places, even like the scariest moment should have been, well, other than being buried alive, was the I can't think of that video game series, Silent Hill, like the Silent Hill room with the
that is what I thought of too.
with the nurses kind of like in that room with like, don't move, you know, that kind of.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of with Silent Hill.
I was like, where's Pyramid Head?
Yeah.
She was coming.
Kind of middle of the road then.
What about you?
For a grade, I'd say probably like 5.
Mm-hmm.
For a scary grade, I'd say like a 2.
Mm-hmm. Even with the buried alive? Yeah. I guess that was 12-year-old you, and you're now much older.
I mean,
than
it
that,
would still freak me the fuck out, but he had his little bell.
Yeah.
I knew he'd get out of it. It was a little too early.
I was wondering if I was like, geez, are they going to have this be only...
Just her by herself?
Just her the entire
forever?
Time? Yeah.
Because, damn, she ain't going to last.
Yeah. She hasn't taken her vows yet, obviously.
Oh, yeah. It's like they can smell it on her, like...
Yeah.
Oh,
you haven't taken your vows. I'm like, how do you all know?
I would give it 6.5, 7 for entertainment value because I thoroughly enjoyed just the story, through the entire thing. Mm-hmm. People were dumb, but it wasn't as scary as I wanted it to be. Tried with the jump scares and it didn't work. And I really liked the nuns with no faces. That was a really good creep factor.
Yeah, every time she saw a nun, I expected them to either be a husk, or to have no face. Mm-hmm. So when she came across the ghost nuns and they were like whole people, I was like, oh,
yeah.
Surprise.
I really loved ghost nuns that were there to help her, and then the way they revealed it, like, oh, we've all been praying, and then she turns around and there's no one there. I was like, yeah, that's so good. Because I'm a firm believer that there are ghosts and that they would be friendly like that to help out if they were good ghosts.
How did Frenchie and the priest get in that gate?
They went through the door, the delivery door. Mm-hmm. Remember, because the crossword.
Oh, delivery!
You're so smart.
That's what made me be like, oh, is he supposed to deliver her here?
We have a upcoming podcast that links kind of well with this one, with actors and symbolism and everything. I've watched and read the book Hemlock Grove.
Yeah. And
it had the Ouroboros symbol. Like this movie had Ouroboros symbol all the way through it. Snakes biting its tail.
Snakes.
Two snakes eating each other, which was interesting.
Yeah. And then it also had Lily Taylor in it, who is in Hemlock Grove. She had a cameo in this one.
Who's Lily Taylor?
She's the...
Isn't it Lily?
Lili?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always heard it another way. Or maybe in my head, I've just always said it that way.
First place I saw, of course, was, well, not the first place, but one of the earlier places was a guest role on The X-Files. She played the blind girl.
Wow, I
Lily
didn't know.
Taylor. She's all the way at the end. She was sitting in the thing at the end.
Oh, who's in The Conjuring?
Yeah, The Conjuring
And
mom.
was in Haunted.
Yes.
Or Haunting, or whatever the fuck it's called. With Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yes.
If I'm in anything, Marianne will plug it.
I will update you guys and let you know. Keith, what about you?
Well, I will have finished my 6th audiobook tonight, and it should have, by the time you're hearing this, it should be out and published on Audible in October. It's called The Kishi, which is volume 1 of the Tales from Essawan, which is just sort of like a fictional African world the authors created.
It has been described as Game of Thrones meets Black Panther.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate way of putting it. It's got the author has some D&D influences as well, so there's some interesting things that come up that I think will appeal to Marianne and many of her friends.
I cannot wait to listen to it. So, who is the author again?
Antoine Bondelet.
Once the book is out and once I have listened to it with Keith's narrative, we will have Keith and I and whoever else has listened to it or read it onto a podcast, and we'll talk about that. It'll be our first book that we've covered in our Macabre review, Marianne's Macabre review. Ta-da! Something else other than a movie. Alrighty, folks. Do we have anything else we want to mention?
Nope.
Alrighty.
Ma'am.
This is Marianne signing off.
Bye!
Warning. 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 What? Why did you cut back to me?
It's All Been Done presents.
Presents me with what? Am I being served? Oh, okay. I guess we just read this then. Oh, she didn't do the promos? Marianne. Fine. Let's see. Season 2 of Squatch Smashers is here. Releasing every other Sunday, join monster hunter Zeke Del4, his vampire co-host dad, Vlad, a stylish steampunk murder bot named Jenny, and more as they hang out at a t-shirt kiosk in the Dunglewood Mall and face creatures and fellow businesses alike. Plus, a free t-shirt for every 1 millionth listener. That could be you. Check out Squatch Smashers and all our programs at iabdpresents.com and support us at patreon.com/IABD. Okay, that should do it. How many more of these are there? Oh. You guys should probably just go. This is going to be a while.
Who's got the time?
Preach, Dallas.